ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, first off, my name is Ryan Ramos. I'm the head of Rotten Corpse Entertainment. We are a horror media group. We used to be a film group, but now we're just kind of delving into the world of horror, doing everything in horror, from blogs, soon to be comics, and music.
Sweet. Tell us about some of your past projects.
Past projects, we originally started in 2004 doing short films. In 2004, we put together Rotten Corpse Entertainment. It was me and three of my friends. We just wanted to make a short film. Made it about a group of kids camping in the woods. We called it Camp Until You Die. Named it after a song, part of a song that came from the movie Sleepaway Camp called I'm a Happy Camper. So.
Classic.
Yeah.
And so you guys started in 2004, you said, and is that how long you've been making movies yourself?
No, originally I started in high school just doing video production. We would go and film whatever we could. Started off with filming like speech and debate, football team games and stuff like that. Later moved on to wanting to make like weird, stupid commercials. Me and some friends made a commercial for the American Red Cross where we used Dracula. coming in and swooping in to get some blood, and turns out he was sucking the neck of a morphine addict and couldn't quite get what he was looking for.
Excellent. That's hilarious. Are there any big names that you'd ever want to have in your movies?
Tons of big names. First and foremost, Ashley Lawrence from the original Hellraiser. I eventually want to do a film, and she's the appropriate age to be in it now. Where I wanted to to have like some weird modern family situation. Wanted to do a supernatural horror where a family moves into a haunted house. Basic premise for a haunted house film, except for what happened in the house. And Ashley Lawrence would be that perfect, mom character. And not to want to put her in that position just because she's an older woman, but she'd be awesome for the character.
That would be really fucking sweet, dude. How long would you say that it takes you to come up with your ideas for new movies?
Pretty much on the spot.
On the spot.
All I really need is a starter. Anybody says one thing and it just becomes something. Back in 2006, a friend of mine who was in the military wanted to be down here and filming some of our camp movies, and he came up with a premise and I ran with it. He called me up and he kind of gave me this basic idea. I want to see a movie where a crazy Amish guy kills a bunch of hookers with a garden hoe. You can call it the Hoe Killer. I thought it was brilliant, so I put the whole thing together in less than one day, and it took about a year to get in the actual filming process. But once we were into it, we went full bore with it. So.
Fucking awesome.
And the Hoe Killer is available on our Vimeo site. Just type in Rotten Corpse TV. It should be easy to find.
And we'll link you guys at the bottom of this interview for easy access. And what do you find scary yourself?
I don't. Literally, I've been watching horror movies since I was 5 years old. I'm 34 now, and going back through all the different things I've watched up until now, once I became 9 years old, me and my friends had witnessed the thing that they call Faces of Death. And from Faces of Death, even though we thought the movies were legitimate death scenes, we ended up started checking out different ones like The Many Faces of Death, which is real death scenes, Traces of Death, which is like mostly accident footage and stuff you'd see on TV, Death Scenes, which is another collection of, crazy accident footage or different death footage that was caught on tape, whether it be world news or whatever it was, just from around the world. And after the age of 9, I literally stopped being afraid. It was just kind of, I had seen it all.
Right.
So what's
so
there to
no
be afraid
shock.
of anymore? Yeah, so
No
the shock
shock
value
there.
is completely gone.
Where would you say that you draw your inspirations from?
Most of my inspiration comes from old John Carpenter films. I'm a big fan of Halloween, Christine, um, They Live, The Fog, all that stuff. I really love the old John Carpenter. I also am a huge fan of really silly B-rate films that Lloyd Kaufman has made from Troma. So Troma films and John Carpenter films kind of became my core inspirations. Most of the Troma stuff for the silly splatstick, over dramatic characters, and just massive amounts of gore. John Carpenter for story structure and music.
Nice. And what do you think are the essentials for good horror?
To me, the essentials for good horror, you have to have something a little bit different than everybody else. Even when you come out with something new, as far as a horror movie series, to keep it fresh and to keep it interesting for new audiences. Take, for instance, Adam Green's Hatchet. Even though Hatchet is basically a rendition of Friday the 13th, it's still its own unique storyline, has its own depths, has its own unique characters, change of scenery, it's in a swamp instead of a forest. But everything that, when you're making new horror, you have to make it new and original for our current time. You can't really base stuff. I mean, you can, but it kind of takes away from just takes away from the, how would you put it? It's kind of, I think it just takes away from the story structure when you're trying to make stuff that's period piece. When you're trying to make a 70s movie.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a big budget company, it's just kind of stupid. So making something new, fresh, and original is kind of nice because you're getting to watch something you've seen before, but from a completely different perspective.
I definitely agree with you there because nobody wants to see the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to let everybody know?
Currently, we are in the works of trying to release 2 films. I have a short animation that's based on the world of professional wrestling. For anybody who follows us on Twitter, you'll know that I do kind of poke my head in and out of wrestling feeds just because I'm a big dork. And that also kind of goes with, your website and, a lot of the postings you get about ICP. I'm sure sometimes wrestling pops up here and there. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And, it's probably one of the most fun pop culture things that's out there. You can always kind of jump back into it, even if it's new stuff. But I wanted to do a short film that was based in the world of wrestling, but I don't have the money to go out and hire a bunch of local wrestling talent. So
Right.
we decided to make a short animation instead, very dramatic, kind of in the kind of shades of The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. Another project that we want to release this year, hopefully, probably not until next year, is our film Brunch of the Dead. We came up with Brunch of the Dead quite a few years ago. It was actually filmed a few years ago. We had not the means to actually finish it until recently, so hopefully once we get everything together, it will be on the internet. So.
Excellent. Well, thanks for doing this interview with us, and we hope to hear more from you in the future. It's always a pleasure.